Hello, my friends and budding World War II generals. The winds of change are blowing upon us, and that's because today, in episode 24, we're going to be doing Operation Barbarossa in this beginner tutorial series. Do check the whole lot out if you haven't already. Although, if you're only interested in Operation Barbarossa, do check out...
Simple. Read them. P24. Superfluous.
Oops, I forgot to I forgot to turn the silly effects off there. There we go. I just thought I'd be, you know me, I'm daft, right? Okay, so at the end of the last episode 23, which was actually about a week ago for me, I've been busy, but here we go. It's we're doing it today, right? It's finally getting there. I made a mistake. There's always somebody trying to put me off. This time it was somebody with a loud motorbike. Yeah, so I made a mistake at the very end. It was a deliberate mistake. When it was saying which countries do we wish to take over, and there was, you know, after we'd finished our war, there was that thing with the points at the end, and it was basically, as far as I'm aware, between us and Italy. I think these have been the main players so far. I neglected to check Luxembourg, Belgium, Denmark, as well as Netherlands in it, I think. Dutch, or the Dutch Reich, as they're calling on themselves. I had no idea that that was the name of it. But in any case, I neglected to check these territories, which means, yes, okay, I've got a whole bunch of territory, which is, of course, great and important, but not these. Now, I'm not at war with these, but if we just right-click onto them in the default view or the F1 view mode, you can see that relations are negative 100 from us to them and from them to us. So, in other words, this was a huge oversight. I should have probably just taken them or puppeted them, right? The worst thing I could have done was just leave them be, and, you know, that was my fault. And again, we've got terrible relations here. And probably the same here. This one's particularly bad, actually, Denmark, because we were using this as a connection to get through there. But at least we've got the UK. One other thing was that Russia was justifying against us as of the last episode. It's unclear. Sometimes a country will justify against you, and then something will happen, like you'll suddenly conquer the UK or get much stronger in some other way, and they'll go, maybe not, and back down. But whether they back down or not is irrelevant, because we're going to be going for them today. So, quick recap, we have some forces over here, and again, if you ever want to, you know, who exactly it is, zoom in a bit, select one of the units, and then we'll see here one of the divisions. Let's try and use the proper terminology. That's then going to select the army, in this case, General Willem List, I'm sure mispronounced that, and of course this is this purple army here, called itself Army 4, and if you look down on the, you know, all the general tabs, especially if you've got loads of them and you've got a high resolution monitor, sometimes it doesn't always jump out, but you can see here there's this you know, it's boxed there indicated in yellow. So that's this guy. So if I just select this guy, yeah, he's up there. I'm just gonna click this guy. Yeah, he's there. Is this guy there? No. So this general here is up against Yugoslavia, which we haven't invaded. Because I'm going to use this field marshal, at least initially for Russia, I do not want to mix and match other generals in there, because it's just going to overcomplicate things. Now, I say initially, what's this guy's stats? 3 on attack, 3 on defense, 2 for supply consumption, and we've also got, you know, the skill is less of an issue. The real one for me, because I'm attacking, is attack, and of course supply is massive. So we've got a 3 and a 2. which is not great. What have we got over here? A 3 and a 2 as well for Myrtle, which isn't the best. And for this guy, it's a 3 and a 2. So actually, at this stage for our save game, there is no real advantage to going with one field marshal or another. Like, sometimes your field marshals get up to, you know, level 8, level 9 in later games. So bearing in mind, this guy is not going to be, he's going to go with somewhere else. I'm going to stick this guy with a different field marshal. So let's have a look. We've got this guy here who did the UK. I think we're going to probably need this field marshal to just quickly roll over these countries that were in that mistake. So let's get that out the way with first. We'll start with Belgium. We'll right-click. We'll justify conquer. And how long is that going to take? 125 days. I'm not going to do that. That's a waste of 125 days. It does force me to leave some forces behind so that if they do declare war on us, they're just not able to tear across the Reich unstopped. Even if we have weak forces there that can't win, as long as they're able to hold them back just for a bit, then that'll do. I mean, don't forget on June, I should know the exact date, it's June the 5th or the 6th, I think, that the D-Day landings took place. That, of course, was in this area of France here. German forces were able to hold them up for 11 months, getting from here to here, right? Just past Frankfurt. So from here to here, that took 11 months. And again, the vast majority of the forces were up on the other side versus Russia. So that shows the UK, together with America and, some French forces and whoever else was involved, it just shows, even though you can't win, holding them off, buying time. And, of course, we don't need 11 months. If we need to hold forces back, it's just going to be for a few weeks while we transfer divisions across from elsewhere. So that's the plan there. I realise Barbarossa, this isn't a tutorial where I can just, in the first minute the action starts, because we've got a lot of logistics to sort out, and I'm trying to discuss these things. So I think because these divisions over here have been very good for attack, and again we've got our panzers here, our limited number of panzers, together with General Bock. I think he was a field marshal at some point, but don't quote me on that. But in any case, Bock, together with this field marshal, I think we're going to want to use these for our attack into Russia as well. So we'll actually have 2 field marshals. So what I may do is get this guy, this field marshal here, and we'll draw a line up at the top. So pressing the Z key to get the front line, right-click drag, should be old hat by now, and we're just going to drag maybe from the coast all the way to Minsk. So let's go for that. So right-click drag. It's a weird sort of thing to do that on the PC. There we go. To about, I'll tell you what, we'll go to that river. There we go. So that's a good spot for the field marshal. And we'll hit escape to deselect. I'm just going to check that there aren't any traits for Rommel. It's that old chestnut with the gorilla. Every time you load a save game, you've probably realized this by now, you get notifications for traits that you may have previously said no. And that's what's happening there. We've also got one for this guy up here. What's his? Same thing. So Manstein, he as well, we were giving armoured. It doesn't appear that we've got quite enough yet for him. I'm going to leave those divisions in place just until my other army gets across. We could go all historical and call it Army Group North, because this is where this particular one at least is going to be. Cool. All right, just going to turn that down a tiny bit. So we've got... This was the guy who was defending the coastal area in case the British invaded us. Now, we no longer need to worry about that. We've taken over the UK. However, he's perfectly placed to surround these areas here. We also got a new notification that we will not have seen before. Up here, we have exiled divisions. And what that means is we've got divisions that are ours, that are in somebody else's country, and that somebody else has not agreed to have our divisions there. And again, due to the deliberate, accidental, on purpose. No, it wasn't. It was an oversight. Last episode, I was trying to wrap things up. We have some divisions here, and here you see them. And so not only do they have to leave the area, but they're also going to run out of supplies. And as you see, their organization is completely shot. So it's imperative that these divisions get out of the countries that they shouldn't be in as quickly as possible. Otherwise, we're going to take losses, attrition, right? So people are going to die, equipment's going to get lost. But what I am going to do is, rather than just guard all of these areas, let's see, can we guard? So this is one of the problems with doing a front line, as you can see. We've got Germany here, or the Reich, and then we've got one nation here, we've got Belgium here, then we've got another nation here, Luxembourg, and then we've got the other side of Belgium. So that's 4 different front lines, if you like, because each one of these countries is a different front line. We can't press Z and just have a contiguous front line covering the entire area. I wish we could, but we can't because they're different countries. So the only way to do that is to, I think actually what you can do, let's just try this because maybe I can learn something too. Let's select the first, I don't know, let's go 6 divisions from this general, press Z, okay, and then we'll set them there. And then we'll go 7, 8, let's go 9, Z, there we go. I think it's going to work. And then we'll go, this is a small front here as well, so we'll just go 10, 11, 12, Z, okay, making sure to select different divisions every time, and then of course all the rest of them. Scroll down, 2, 3, 4, there we go, press Z again, and there we go. So that's worked perfectly. So answer my own question there, yes, you can separate or split individual divisions and get within one general and give them separate orders. So we've done that there, so that's cool. All right. What's this guy doing over here? His job was to secure Denmark, where he, of course, can't now be. So same again, because these guys are pretty hostile to us. We'll go... We'll take 6 generals. 6 divisions, should I say, and pop them down there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pop them on there. Tiny link. And then the remaining I'm actually going to give to some other general. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we'll give them to this guy over here. Okay, we said this guy was not going to be up against Yugoslavia. Sorry, was not going to be in this Army Group 3. So let's give him to... Let's just give him to this Field Marshal over here. So Army Group 2 is going to be our defensive sort of army. So let's just call it Army Group Def for now, just so we don't get confused. And I'm actually going to drag them off to the right-hand side of the screen, so that all my offensive stuff is towards the left. That's the plan. So I'm going to just click and hold on the Field Marshal. I'm going to make very sure I don't put him on top of anybody. I think my mouse accidentally let go there. So click on him and drag. There we go. Off to the end. Let go. Bang. That's worked. So I've got Army Group North. And then I've got the other one. Let's just call it Army Group South. I realised there was a centre as well, but we're not. We haven't quite gotten there, have we? Right, so... Yep. And then we've got this guy here with the horses. Now, this guy's absolutely not involved with our attack either. As you can see, he's covering an area that actually doesn't need to be covered. So I'm going to get this guy involved as well. So with the Z, I'm just going to bring him into the general area. Here will do. Because we've gotten, on our Army Group North, we've got the Field Marshal sorting things out. And I realise they're not there yet. They've got to come from the UK. But we've given the order to the Field Marshal. The Army Group South were just individual armies that were given the order, because we were sort of sending units across one at a time. We're going to put that right, but first I want all my units to get over there. And the reason is because Russia's justifying on us. And if they declare war while my units are all mixed up trying to figure out where they want to go, you know, the Russians are just going to roll over us. So I'm letting all my guys get into position first, and once they're there on the front line, then I will say, right, generals, cancel all your orders, Field Marshal, here's your order, and then the Field Marshal can rearrange units as he sees fit. If units are engaged in combat when we ask them to rearrange, because they're already in combat, they will conclude the combat first and rearrange second. But if they're rearranging first, the organization goes and then Russia attacks, then we've got problems. So that's the plan. I will just quickly check some of these other guys. So yeah, he was circling this area. He was doing the same over there. This guy, yep, he was holding the line versus Russia up at the top. Steiner guy, and again, these were these crappy divisions. He's holding the line against Finland. And again, these are not going to win. These are just going to buy time should Finland start. And then this guy down here was holding line versus Yugoslavia. I think there are too many divisions, far too many. He's got 21 divisions. We need some of those over here. So I'm just going to transfer, let's go 3 divisions over to this guy. We'll keep the mountain troops down here. The special forces. It's perhaps more of an advanced episode. That let's just take one more so he's got an even number, and then I'm just gonna split. I wish I had some more motorized or panzer to help Manstein out. This guy here, he's this guy really is a panzer guy, but we don't really have enough yet either. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know. We've got cavalry here. Some of these were the divisions from abroad. Let's give them all to this guy. There we go. Just give him 24. That'll do. I think that leaves him with 11 divisions. Who are these guys? These guys are, these divisions here are defending the coastline from Germany. Now, we're not expecting an attack over here. And again, that's because we already control the UK. It would be great if we could leave some forces behind on the UK. I don't want to leave it completely wide open like that in case one of these countries come across here, or even Ireland. I mean, we would get the notification they were justifying on us first, but even so, especially when you get absorbed in Russia, things can happen at the back that you don't always see, at least I don't. Low supply issue, again, that's just these troops here because we've been kicked out of Denmark, so that's that. So I think we're pretty much sorted in that regard. So let's take a look at the research now, something that we were neglecting towards the end of the last conflict. There's one thing to note, I just point out here, especially when you're playing on the harder mode, and that is that the weapons upgrade from the 39 version up to the 42 version, so the MP38 to the MP43, these take so much longer to produce that it's possible that you will run out of weapons. So let's just have a look here. If we ignore, I realize it's slightly ahead of time, but this is just a bit of bonus content. If we ignore the time, let's just assume we've got them both unlocked right now. Yes, obviously the newer one, which is, I suppose I should put the newer one on the right-hand side. There we go. So we see the newer one on the right-hand side where you look at on the stats is generally better. Although, interestingly, the reliability takes a hit. But in other regards, it's better. Now, you can see production cost is higher. It goes from 5.8 to 6.9. So this means even if you could magically keep your efficiency from the factory, which we know we can't. When you get an upgraded unit, it drops by about half. So if you were making 100 guns a day with this, and then you were to upgrade, you would lose that by half, so that's 50. And then on top of that, because the production costs even more, from 5.8 to 6.9 is about, it's almost 20% is that. And so that's going to take you from 50 to 40. So if you were producing 100 guns a day and then you're down to 40 a day, it's possible you'll run out because, of course, soldiers on the front line are losing them all the time to attrition. whether they die or not, in addition to, you know, they lose them all the time. So there is that. So let's have a look for something more suitable we can spend this research on. We're not getting too far away from the medium tank there. Artillery, that's getting pretty close as well, only a quarter of a year away. Cruiser, again, we don't really bother so much with the heavy ships as Germany. Aircraft, that's all going. Strategic bomber is something I very rarely use, ever actually. Sometimes heavy fighter, they can be pretty good. They have additional range and so on, but again, they're quite hard to produce. Radar, that's getting close. And because radar, if you take a look at the time, is always quite quick to research anyway. If ever I'm ahead on anything, it usually is the radar. Because you may remember from early on, if we take a look at the stats, in addition to the radar, you know, being able to see further, look at this. Static anti-air hit chance factor, plus 20%. Coordination, and look at this. Coordination increases the amount of damage dealt to the primary target in combat. Other damage is spread over all other targets. And coordination is something that is done on land, air, and sea. You know, there's that coordination. Actually, is it done on the air? But it's certainly done on land and sea. There is a coordination metric that goes into all the calculations. So having a better radar is not just, oh, well, we can spot planes from further away. There is a lot more to it than that. So it's always worth getting that where possible. And of course, we've got our industry, which is also a quarter of a year away. So there's lots of stuff coming up. I'm just going to go for the radar first because it's one of the shortest ones. Okay, so I think that... Let's let the game trickle over 24 hours. You know what I say there after a save game. Pause. So there's been some Olympic Games in Finland. Okay. Spare factories. Whenever I click on spare factories, the very next thing I then do is say, how much rubber do I have? And then almost always, until it's, you know, later in the game, I'm thinking... planes, right? Because we're always short on planes. We've got 25 factories spewing out fighters and 8 producing close air support. And if we take a look at these little icons like this, this shows us that we're actually 50 aircraft short. So if I just move the list down a bit, there you can see that's the Navy bomber. These ones here, obviously, you know, in a bit of a recap here, these are upgrades. So that means we've got enough aircraft, but a lot of them are older. And in this case, we need 696 of these newer aircraft to upgrade all of the older ones that we've currently got. Of course, there's almost always going to be an arrow, because just because you've got older aircraft doesn't mean you're going to chuck them away. You're going to try and make use of all the aircraft that you can. But of course, so these yellow arrows are always kind of going to be there. And until you get this icon here, which means you've got enough in storage and of older ones and the newer ones. Trucks, at least in this vanilla version of the game, I don't believe update. Not in the same way in any case. Transport planes, we may wish to make use of these in Russia, so I'm actually going to plus there. And again, because we're needing 2 rubber per... The 2 rubbers have been taken up by just 1 additional factory. There we go. Taking a look at this here at the top, something else we've not checked out, 13 out of 13. These are the repairing dockyards. So not just all the dockyards, that's these, repairing. And if we come over here, look how many ships are in the queue for repair. That is, of course, because we've been taking on the British Empire. I think we need to devote more dockyards to repair, and that's easier to do now because we've got a larger coastline, including, of course, the UK itself. So let's up that. Some players see no reason why not to just go the whole hog, and again, I see no reason why not. Let's just go for 30 dockyards. I think that's more than enough, and that means more ships can repair at once, and, you know, it's just going to be quicker, which is useful because we need that navy, because we need to get it into these parts, because, of course, Russia controlling over here. Unassigned divisions, shift left click, I'm just going to put those into the training army, right click. Speaking of training army, there's a bunch of divisions there as well that are ready. Well, let's get 12 divisions over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right click onto them. So he's gotten his full 24 divisions. Remember, if possible, you don't want to go over because you'll lose some of the bonuses that the generals have. By exactly how much, I don't know. I don't know if it's the 25th division immediately cancels it down to like 0 bonus, or whether it's a gradually sliding thing, whether it affects all the units or just the one that's over the top. I don't know. But there's more than enough generals to pick from, so I don't see that there's ever really a reason to worry about it. Do we have any other motorized? Not yet. I'll tell you what, we saw all the amount of trucks that we've got available, almost 5,000. So let's come to the recruit menu. See, some of these, sometimes when there's been a, peace conference is the wrong word, but when there's been hostilities that have come to an end and there's a whole bunch of changes on where different nations are, you'll notice that the location completely resets, even though we'd only selected within Germany anyway. So if that happens, just come to location set, and again, just pop them in and around your capital. And you know, the reason we're doing that, of course, is because the capital is where all the supply comes from. And it also means that once units pass out of training, they appear by your capital. So if anybody's doing anything sneaky and suddenly charging for your capital, you can kick units out early and they're in the right place at where you need them. Free military factories, how many have we spare? Oh, only 3. Okay, well, let's go up. We've, of course, spent our rubber, so what else do we have in shortage? Well, let's go support equipment. Let's put 2 factories on there, and then I'll put an extra 10 factories onto the infantry equipment. Okay. And then the next factories that are available, they will go there. Call to arms. Call to arms request from Italy. Well, of course, we're on the same team, so okay. And doctrines available. If we take a look, that's probably going to be on the air. We've also got a reduced cost one for Navy. So again, we're Germany not doing carriers at knee slot yet, so we may as well go for this battleship. I mean, we do have a couple roaming around, so we may as well spend that. But on the air, of course, we've finished it all. Again, with the exception of this one, because you can't go in both directions. Okay. Okay. Let's unpause then. Wait, you see here these units leaving the area that they're not supposed to be in, and then once all of that's complete, our exiled division notification should disappear. Here we see Army, or what will be Army Group North, making its way across the sea because they were in the UK. The Field Marshals told them to get into position over there. If we come over to the Navy, one thing that I perhaps should have done, just because there's some potential enemy, we've, of course, taken the UK, so we don't need to concentrate everything on the channel. I'm going to, with the surface fleet selected, the Admiral Radar, I'm going to right-click to designate additional areas again. So that area there, this area here, and I think that will do for now. We will, of course, press into there at some point. He should stay in the channel as well, I think, and actually cover the North Sea, and even up here. Reason being, it's possible that Russia could invade this way if we don't cover the area. Again, I'm not going to send him up into this area, the Barents Sea, because we just don't have enough ships to cover all that area. This flotilla here that was on Navy invasion support, of course, that's now complete, so I'm going to set these back onto strike force, which means they'll loiter in harbour until they're needed. Quick check on the U-boats. With our Unterseebootsflotten, we will resume these. Now, because we've got the UK, we're not expecting to sink many ships around here, but I am going to use them more for cover. So this area, Norwegian Sea, and I certainly will put these up in the Barents Sea, Norwegian coast, and let's just grab this area because we've got enough. Iberian coast, Denmark Strait. And if I set these once again to convoy raiding, you can see here operating in fleet area, everything is 100%, so that means we can add yet another sea tile on. We can't go through into the Mediterranean. I say we can't. If the Italians control this area, which they do, because of course UK's been defeated, okay, we can. For some reason in Hearts of Iron, if the UK controls this, or whoever controls this, they can basically lock down the strait and nothing is able to pass. Now in real life you could sneak U-boats through, but just the way, a limitation on this, I say a limitation, I don't think it's a limitation, it's just what the game designers have decided to do. You can't get U-boats through there if the enemy controls it, or any sort of ships, and same goes vice versa. So because we can get boats into there, I may as well tell him to do so. I'm going to keep adding areas until, well, I think actually that's enough. I think that's enough. Let's get them into this area as well. There we go. All right. We'll just get rid of these notifications. Let's have a hover over mostly green, which is good. Right click. This one, not so good, right? And I think these are merchants. Oh, we lost 24 bombers there versus an entire British flotilla. Okay. And what about the other one? Oh, more aircraft. 23 tactical bombers versus a flotilla. You know, we got nothing for it. If we take a look at the details, we did actually inflict a little bit of damage on some ships, but we didn't sink any. So that, of course, damage being cumulative, at some point they're either going to sink or have to go back to be repaired. So it wasn't entirely for naught, but it basically was. Okay, how far are we in? Just passing the half-hour mark. Okay. I think I'll do these episodes back-to-back today. Let's have a look. Our U-boat guy, he's got some traits available. Because he's only doing U-boats, there's no point giving him a trait in destroyers or cruiser or mining. Yes, because U-boats are capable of laying mines, or at least they are in the other version, but I never really bother with that with the U-boats. I use U-boats in the traditional sense only. Right, low supplies, that's because that division is still to pass out. There we go. Okay, everybody's, I say everybody, but they nearly are. You can invite to faction. Oh, the Dutch Reich. Are you serious? These guys want to join us. If I right click, oh, somehow we're in the positive. How is that even possible? And I wonder then if... unfortunately, it doesn't appear that it will include these islands down here just because they've got so much rubber and so on down there. Do you know what? Just because it mixes up the game a bit. Actually, you know, I'm going to leave it. I best not. I best not. Right. Let's carry on. So is Russia still justifying on us? Soviet Union, should I say? Yes. I wish it showed a... there we go. Truce will last until 1 o'clock, 31st of March. So actually, this is a ways off. I'm thinking to encourage things we're going to justify on them. What does that say? Also 125 days. You see, this is quite a lot of time that I would... Because if I don't justify them, they cancel on me. We're just wasting a lot more time. Let's just have a look on the old stats over here. So once our U-boat effect is done, we can use this to encourage war. Let's just have a little look. Well, it's going to be this way, isn't it? Anti-that, which is 70 days. War with the USSR, which is then 140. Okay. We're going to justify. I realise that leaves these countries open. Once we start with Russia, we'll then justify on those. It should then be quicker. So let's go conquer. We'll just right, we'll just select the top area. Again, it doesn't matter which one. I always find this a mystery. I think somebody left a comment once saying you end up getting more war participation points if you justify more areas. Maybe. It just seems like a waste of days and political power to me. Okay. So we're justifying on them. Apparently they're justifying on us. And everything else is good. I'm going to right-click to dismiss because they're not joining me. We're going to get them. Okay. Exiled divisions. They're now there. Low manpower, as you see, we've got 1 million, so that's fine. So let's untick. One thing that we've not spent too much time looking at is the occupied territories tab. So let's have a look at this. Now this can initially be confusing, so it's worth going over. So the first thing I always like to do is select resistance, and this ranks all the countries by resistance that we control, the highest being at the top. Now if I click on this area, I had no idea that we are controlling this particular area here. I'm not sure we're going to be able to hold that because the British are there, but in any case, because the resistance is getting really high, and once the resistance gets higher and higher, at some point the country can literally detach itself from you. It's worth going to martial law. We've set it before default by military governor, so we're going to up it to martial law, and you can see that that's going to reduce the amount of resistance by some. It's not all good though. We need more people there to do it, more weapons and so on. So it's not a win-win-win. So let's just get that one there sorted. You pop down there, sweetheart. I'm just going to take a quick look at my MP guards just to refresh myself what we'd gotten there. The template. Yeah, so MP, we've gotten 4 cavalry divisions. Combat width 8. I'm just going to put 1 more cavalry division in. Now it used to be that you would fill this page and people thought, and rightfully so, oh, if I put take a look at the suppression, if I put more and more cavalry divisions in and get the highest suppression possible, then that will be the best at suppressing. It's not actually true, and I'll show you why. Because if we come over once again to the occupied territories tab, here we see we're using the MP guards. But if we look just to the right of the figure, this one here, or this one here, shows us how many divisions we require. So with the current setup, we need 2.5 divisions just over to perform the garrison. So if I increase the size of the MP division template, the actual amount of divisions that we require will be less, yeah? Because we're making the divisions bigger, so the amount that we need becomes less. So it's not necessarily efficient to just build a massive MP division, because it automatically just, this here automatically chooses the number that you need. The only difference I make here is if there's a country, and again, this is something you'll come across in a more difficult game settings, and especially with some of the DLC, sometimes it may be worth to copy the template like this, and then over here put in like a light tank, and what that'll do, if you take a look, is put some armor into the division. Also increases suppression as well, of course, but it's the armor that we're after. And then this would, I would call this something like I don't know, heavy MP or whatever, and save that. Obviously I'm not going to waste points on doing it. And then with the heavy MP saved, if there's a country over here that's really giving me jip, I would then change it from the regular MP to the heavy MP. And that, of course, uses a load of tanks, but if they're really giving you problems, it will help. So there we go. So, yeah, let's change the ones that are giving us problems to the ones at the top of this list to martial law. And I'm going to do the same for everything that's above 40. Military governor, okay. And then these ones that are really low, I didn't even realize that we were controlling Turkey. Oh, they're like a puppet, are they? Or is it just this area here? Either way, I'm going to reduce this from military governor to secret police. Well, again, local police force. Yeah, let's just go with secret police. Same with Tunisia. And again, this just means that we need less to look after it, but we also gain in other ways too. So again, military governor, if you look, you know, if you pause, you can read that there's actually a whole bunch of stats. So again, resistance is the first primary one, because too much resistance, not only do they destroy more things, but we risk losing the entire country. But providing we've got the resistance, you know, anything that gets over 50, focus on the resistance. But once it's down like 10, 15, you know, you can think about lowering this a little bit. Certainly anything less than 10. So let's go secret police. Same here, secret police. Doesn't actually make any difference when it comes to enemies attacking you in a military sense. We're just literally talking about the local population, quote, resisting, which, you know, unless they break the country off, just mostly results in the destruction of factories and infrastructure that then you need to repair. And if you're repairing stuff, you can't be building new stuff elsewhere. And of course, you can't use it while it's damaged. Because we've only just bagged ourselves the UK, I'm going to leave them on military governor for now. Of course, they risk, you know, you can already see the upwards arrows. They're getting worse. Right, I think that will do. 41 minutes in, I realise, I'll tell you what, it's not going to be a shorter episode because we're going to just unpause so that the declaration of war. Companies demand MIFO payments. So remember earlier on we were getting these bonuses from the MIFO payments as it was giving Germany the... It was basically helping Germany to rebuild. I mean, there's, you know, history gets a bit convoluted depending on whose history book you're reading. But, yeah. So they need us to repay. So, as you can see, consumer goods factories. So this, you know, we've got no choice in this. It's got to be. That consumer goods factories up to 40% for 170 days is massive. Because if we take a look at how many factories we've got available. So let's just count here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Exactly 10 times 15, right? So we've got 150 factories literally available to build. We click this, and that's now going to disappear. So if I unpause, it's going to be a lot less than that. Let's slow down time. Just have a look at this Brandenburg 15 out of 15. Let's pick up the pace a little bit to the next day. Thought it would be instantaneous, but it's not. There we go. We lost 15 factories there, and we've also lost 10 there. So those MIFO bills have cost us the use of 25 civilian factories, builders, for 170 days. And that's because, of course, the game doesn't simulate money, but factories are as close to money as it is. Okay, let's unpause. Quick look on the air. Training. These guys have concluded training. So let's set them to air superiority, should I say. I'm just going to right click onto the general over here. This guy is for Navy. And we'll go Navy Strike as well as Navy Patrol. And we'll put them into the lower Baltic. We had these Navy ships over here. I'm going to put one that way. And all of these combat air support type aircraft, middle bombers that were on Navy, I'm going to redesignate those as close air support. And again, set these over to the generals that are going to be on the front line with Russia. So this guy, 1, 2, 3. Hold the air wing and give them to Rommel. 1, 2, 3. Hold close air support. The reason you've got one Czech Navy is if you give aircraft wings multiple roles. So yes, you can do close air support and Navy. it then does them both, but to half the efficiency. And if you're over land, there's no navy anyway. So, you know, you're shooting yourself in the foot by having more than one, unless you really want to split it half and half. We'll give those 3 to Bok. These combat air support aircraft here were on, we manually selected South England, so I'm going to hold them first. And then we'll give those aircraft to this guy. 1, 2, 3. And again, I'm doing it 3 at a time just to split them up a bit more evenly. Close air support, cancel their initial order. We'll give those here. And then last but not least, cancel those and give them there. Okay. We've got seemingly one more aircraft on close air support, this one here. So we'll hold him and give him to this guy. 1, 2. We no longer need aircraft over the English Channel. There we go. And this one here to there. There we go. These aircraft over southern France, I'm going to give, if we cancel, to this guy. Remember, this guy here is covering the line here. And of course, if war does kick off with these, we could use some aircraft there. So let's make sure he's got some also. And again, we can redistribute aircraft if we seem to be running a little short. I didn't mean to send all my aircraft navy-wise over here. So we've just the first group selected. Let's put him in the Bay of Biscay. And with this group selected, I'm going to send them to the UK. We'll put those onto the western approaches. And again, not that we're expecting anything over there, but it's good to know. Asked to join faction request once again from the Dutch right. No. Right click to say no. Alright. On we go. We want to be conquering these anyway at some point, so I think we may as well draw the plans. I'm not wanting to enter the province, I'm just wanting to X, there we go, escape. With these guys selected, X and escape. Same with these, because of course one of these countries could just declare war on us anyway, and if they do, we may as well have an order ready to attack. X to the other end of the country, escape. These guys, X, other end of the country, escape. Zoom in. X, other end, escape. And then last but not least with these, holding shift just to get them all selected. X, and there we go. Alright, so that there is the plan. Hit escape, sorted. And again, this guy here is just to hold the line. And I think we're pretty much done with regards to preparations. Aircraft, the split there looks good. F2, F1, and we're actually not currently at war. As you see, the you're at war icon is not currently there. Decisions available, we can have a quick look here. I mean, stability war support is off the charts anyway, so there's not much we can do there. Region-wide industrial integration, just because we can, we may as well go for it. Develop the Drakelands tungsten mine. Tungsten is, if we right-click down here, so for 25 political power, and it's going to use 3 civilian factories for 60 days. Upshot is we get 4 tungsten in southwest England. So I actually think we've probably got enough, but you know what? Just because we can, let's do it. We're not going to dismantle any forts. Permit recruitment in Norway, France, and Scotland. Absolutely, of course. Just as in real life, right? That every country that Germany went into, I think I discussed this last time. So let's go for Norway. Now, this is not just a win-win all across the board. If we take a look, let's go for Norway first. Yeah, here's the decision. Okay, so we've got a moderate, massive, or a small number. What you've got to try and do is you've got this sort of scoreboard here between the OKW, which is the military side of Germany versus the SS, which is more like, but it was kind of special forces / secret police / a whole bunch of other things, wasn't it? It was like a mishmash, and you know, and of course we try not to say their name too much, but the point is that depending on what you do here, either one side will prefer it or the other side. So if we go for a massive campaign for the SS, obviously that's going to be good for them. The OKW are not going to be happy. But if we go this way, benefits the OKW, the SS are not going to be happy. Make sure when you do this, anytime you do this, that you've got political power spare, because sometimes your officers think, oh, that's it, I'm off, I'm not interested in staying in this anymore. And you need political power to encourage them to stay. And often these are going to be your top officers as well. So let's go for, this is going to give us an armoured division, full manpower and training, but without equipment. So if you've got tanks, they'll be ready to go. They're not necessarily the best divisions ever, but you know what? Let's just try it. Okay. Let's go to the France one, and we'll go the OKW, and you see that's going to add manpower as well as some army experience. It's actually not very much manpower, 2,000, but it's 2,000. So let's go there. And the Scottish one, and they're not always the same, as you can see here. Scotland is only going to give us 1,000 if we do this. Or we're going to get a motorized, or mechanized in this case, division. Or again, we can compromise on a medium. So let's go for the medium. So we've done one of all three. And you can see, based on what's happened, the OKW is now 10 in the red, and the SS is loyal, but still -5 somehow. So we're going to press escape now. National focus, that's come around. Let's descend this way just in case we need it. Treaty with the USSR. Alright, let's go this way, just in case. Alright. Outdated equipment in production, that's because we saw the Navy bomber, so let's get that one sorted. Okay. Research slot, because the Navy bomber's complete. Let's go for the artillery, because this is so close to being time, and you can see there how many bonuses we get. Not least, regular artillery gives us an extra 10% on attack, soft attack, from well, all the different types of tanks. We're just using the basic tanks. I think actually these are the self-propelled tanks only, the additional bonuses, but certainly support artillery as well as regular artillery. You know, the difference being, let's just get it. What's the difference between support artillery and regular artillery? Well, not that much, but if we come to the division templates, I'm in the wrong place. Recruit. This here is support artillery, but if we put artillery over here, this here is like regular artillery. Again, the difference it makes is just to do with combat width and where the artillery is. It's actually, it's a pretty decent template for this stage, and again, 18 width. Okay, been over that. I have made a tutorial that's a little bit separate from this, just focusing on combat width and that kind of thing. It's pretty technical, so we'll leave it for now. Unassigned divisions, here we go. So as you can see, they're fully trained, they're equipped, but if we look at this red graph here, they've got no equipment. So I'm going to right click over onto the training general, not necessarily for the training, but they can stay there until they've got the equipment that they need. Okay. And generals resign in protest. So here we go. This was in consequence to those decisions that we made. So to convince him to stay, and again, it's Heinz Guderian. So like a top general, right? We're using him. Convince him to stay. And this is easy on easy again, because we've got so much political power. So we'll convince him to stay. There's no negative effects now from that other than the 75. Unfulfilled imports from Portugal, tungsten. Well, it doesn't actually matter, because take a look at this. We've got plenty. So I'm just going to set that down to 0. Okay, on pause. And I think we can slowly pick up the pace now. One thing, I'm just going to pause there because our general... Yeah, he's in position. So our general, the other general, Field Marshal, I beg your pardon, that's going to be covering the southern half of Russia, I'm going to delete the individual orders for the army because they're in position now. So let's right-click, delete. This general, right-click, delete. Double-click in again, right-click, delete, and double-click again, right-click, delete. Now we see the units are still in position. It's not ideal, but they're in position should Russia suddenly attack. I'm now going to select the Field Marshal himself, Z, and again right-click, drag. Do you or do you not want to cover German Romania? Actually, are they part of us, or are they just on our team is the question. They're just on our team, so I don't really want to fight their war for them because then that just makes them bigger, but I want to, if they start to lose, of course, that's something that we need to concern ourselves with. So with this Field Marshal selected, I'm going to press Z. I'm going to overlap with the existing Field Marshal by a single tile. And then drag all the way down to, but not into Romania. So, yeah, Romania. There we go. Right. And then, of course, we've got our orders. So... Army Group North, his first order may as well be to make his way towards Leningrad, something like that. And our southern, his order... I don't know, let's go to about... up to about there. Right. Some pause. Carry on. How are we doing for training? Plenty of stuff. Manpower, we're okay. Truck-wise, we've got lots of spare trucks. So these motorized divisions, I'm actually going to add another cycle because we've got here 4 divisions training. They're almost done. So once they're done, it's going to do another 4. And then that'll do. I'm going to kick these out of training early just so that the second lot get training underway, and then all of these new divisions that actually, look at this, Canada supplying us with divisions, of course, up against the US. Now, yeah, that's because Canada, remember now, we puppeted Canada. The problem here is that if the US does declare on us at Canada, we're never going to win at this state, right? Because we're focusing on Russia. So I'm just going to grab these divisions and again put them with my training general. And it looks like we could actually do with hiring a new general, because Army Group North, as you see, we've only got 3 generals there, 2 of which are armoured based. We've got Bok, and we've got divisions here ready to fight. So I'm going to grab these. 10 of them. Click on the plus to create a new army. Well, I thought I clicked 10, but it's only 9. Clearly can't count. So we'll hire a general, and we'll look for one of the better ones. And again, I realise a lot of these have the armoured trait, but that, of course, doesn't mean we can't use them. This guy is best for special forces, which we're not really going to focus on in this tutorial. So I think I'm going to... Do you know what? It would be a shame if we didn't at least do it once. So yes, we are, but not this episode. So I think we'll grab Sepp Dietrich, seeing as I did say it was a comprehensive tutorial. And with him selected, let's right-click onto Army Group North, the Field Marshal there, so he can add himself on. Now, what I wish would happen in this game, but it doesn't, is now that we've given the general the new... We've given the Field Marshal here the new general, he doesn't automatically send him to the line, and I wish he would. So what needs to happen now is I need to actually delete all the orders of this Field Marshal, press Z, and then reassign them, and then he's going to take into account his new general. Now, you can give individual divisions to generals, and they will be taken into account, but you can't give an entirely new general without reassigning all the orders. Why? I don't know. And if anybody knows of any way around that, please do let me know, because that's really bugs me about this game. Right, there we go. Front line again, just like before. Okay, escape. Soviet Union claims Barbarossa, so let's pause. We're up onto the hour. German-Romania secedes Barbarossa to the Soviet Union. Okay, that'll be this area here. The Soviet Union basically put on the pressure, and Romania folded just like that. So I'm going to, as you can see now, there's a gap in the front line. So I need my army group south. I'm going to hold Alt key down, right click and grab this little, they call it a node, and right click drag. It's a weird Alt and right click drag all at once. The weirdest key combination ever, but there we go. Just to cover up that little bit there. We've got some free dockyards. How are we doing? Battleships, subs, destroyer, light cruiser. Let's come over to the F2 Navy tab. And surface flotilla. Let's see what boats they're short of. So if we take a look here, this flotilla that's operating in the North Sea, if we select it. Okay, so there are some detached. So let's have a look who's detached. Okay, so our battleships, or at least 3 of them are detached. 3 cruisers, 4 destroyers. So if we come back to the view there, so we know we don't have 0 out of 4. We've got 3 out of 4. 3 out of 3 cruisers and a bunch of destroyers. So we've actually lost. In all that fighting with the UK, they did manage to sink a battleship. We've got a free dockyard. I don't really want to build an out-of-date battleship. Although, thankfully, look at this. We've almost finished building one. So once that battleship's finished, it'll replenish the shortage there, which is great. I'm thinking, well, what else could we do? Well, I think, how are we for convoys? Usually it's not something you have to worry about too much. If we hover over at the top of the screen there, we've got 1,349 convoys and we're using 78, so it's not a problem. So I think let's get another dockyard working on subs, and again, by dockyard I mean all 10. So as new ones get built. Aircraft, let's come to Berlin, and this this fighter wing here that belongs to Army 3 that's on the capital. I'm just going to move the aircraft away from the capital and then give it to one of my other generals that's on the line, maybe this guy here. Okay. And now I'm going to add new air wing. We need to train more fighters at the capital. So click, click, click. For each air wing for the fighters. We may as well get some of these old ones in the mix as well. 1, 2. And again, they will fill up to 100 by taking all the odds and ends. So I'm not going to worry about all of these little odds and ends. Although there's actually loads. We could probably get even another. Let's do it. Even another fighter wing in there. There's loads. I think we could even get another one. We'll see. That'll do. Interwar bombers, you can see we've only got 68. And again, they will mix and match. Is there enough is the question. Not quite. Close air support, we've got enough for 2 wings there. And that's it, really. Okay. Making sure I deselect that first air wing so he doesn't go into training. All the others are selected. If we start the training, unpause. And again, these with the odds and ends, we should see those. There we go. Fill up to 100 just by picking from all the other odds and ends. And more divisions from Canada, which is great. We're just bringing them over to train. And again, these divisions that are ready to go, I'm going to give to my front line. And again, it's the great thing. You don't always have to move the camera. You can just right click. We had some divisions over here holding the line. Steiner. Now we've got a bunch more. So I'm going to give 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's give 10 over to Steiner. Where is he gone? Here he is. And then we'll bring some of these that are not trained back. And again, I'm only moving them now because we're not at war with Finland. If we were at war with Finland, I'd probably leave them there. Or certainly leave them there until these new divisions got there to take their place if I was having to cycle them. So I'm just going to take 6 away for now. And again, bring those back for training. Now we've got a few more divisions here that are crappy. These were sort of our rear guards divisions. I'm going to create a new army, and these are going to be for... Hang on, where's this guy covering? Oh yeah, he's the line there. Yeah, so having 2 generals tied up with this is making some of this less than ideal. I'll tell you what, I will leave this new army that I've created, which I want to cover the UK with, certain areas on the UK. Let's pick... Yeah, because I don't intend them to fight. I don't want to use up one of my generals. As you see, we don't have that many left. So let's pick the crappiest guy. And I'm just going to tell it to defend. Let's go for southern. UK and certainly Northern Ireland up to there. Okay, now if Russia does invade on the northern side, you know, clearly we're going to need to get over there quick. So let's unselect railway, let's unselect the coastline, let's get rid of air bases and victory points. And so we're focusing on naval bases as well as forts. He's saying we need 11 divisions to cover this area effectively. Let's get that area selected as well. And let's get... that's not ours, but that certainly is the Scottish Island. There we go. So that's now 14. Do you know what? Let's just cover it. Let's just cover it. Oh. 18 divisions. Okay. So we'll get this guy on the end, 18 divisions if we can. Right, we've got these guys ready. We'll send these up. Do you know what? I may actually give one of these to... Let's go to Rommel. Middle Panzers are still short of equipment, but we do have 2 more Panzer divisions, so I'm going to up him to 8 divisions. And then Manstein, who's only got 2, he's going to be at me there that he's got himself a 3rd division. And the rest of them are still on training. Research slot 1 available. Let's get that done with. We may think about producing a battleship after all. I like that we've got a massive bonus here on this, 100%, so twice as fast. Too much ahead to think about doing it. Let's go with, yeah, let's go with the cruise. Okay. Right, let's unpause, full pace once more. See, we've got our air experience up there that we can't spend. What can we spend that on, though? Doctrines available. Land. Yeah, because look at this. We've ticked over to 97. So let's come over to the land doctrine, modern blitzkrieg, backhand blow. And again, if you want to read into this, you can. You know, the name of backhand blow will be a tactic, but insofar as the game goes, there you see. For the defender tactics movement, -30. Attacker attack damage, -20. Defender attack damage, +25. And this counters the breakthrough. So it seems like a defensive maneuver, this one, even though we're on the aggressive side of things. Okay, that's on pause. Rockets, pause. Let's quickly get that. We're going through it quite quickly. Let's get the anti-air upgrade. Okay, and then we'll get the anti-tank upgrade with this next one. Pause. New divisions. Let's get those into training. 3 civilian factories, because we've built and built and built. Quick look on the supply menu, because once we start with Russia, we're really going to be using supplies big time. So I'm going to select the railway. Somebody asked me last time, do you need... He just sets everything up to a level 5. No, because you're going to run out of build capacity if you do that in anything but the easiest mode. Just select the areas where you can see there's a shortage. areas like this, for example, I'm going to just click on the ball there to upgrade that to a level 2, this to a level 2, and I'm already anticipating that this is going to be a busy area. These two railway lines are not connected, so I'm going to manually connect them here. So I'm going to click there, left click, just go up to that tile, okay. And then once I've hopefully captured this area in Minsk, that'll join up nicely there. Here we've got a level 1 bridge. I'm just going to up this to a level 3. I'm going to upgrade this rail line to a level 3. This here, you can see where the trains are going, so we know there's supply coming this way. So if we up it, it allows more supply. And remember, supply, when your soldiers are sat there doing nothing, they use a certain amount of supply. If they're training, they're going to use more supply, but if they're fighting at war, they're going to use even more. So it's important that they have access to this supply. And again, I'm going to upload this, update this to level 3 because I'm ramping up basically. Let's upgrade the line all the way back to the capital. Let's make a more efficient line. I'm not sure if it entirely matters how straight of a line the railway is from capital to front line, but it can't do any harm. So here's Brandenburg, our capital. I'm going to left click and I'm just going to drag a railway line to here, and then I'm going to up that to, let's go level 4, and then we'll up this to level 3, 3, 3, 3, and 3. There we go. And again, it's I'm thinking long term here, that as we get deeper into Russia, these railway lines become crucial. There will of course be some supply that's done from sea up to this area, so we'll be sure once we get into Russia to perhaps upgrade some of the railway lines there ourselves. Don't forget, road infrastructure can be used to help as well. If we come back to the F4, see what this guy's problem is, and yeah, look, railway, we see it there in red, level 115, so this should hopefully resolve that. So let's unpause. I'm just going to pause real quick what we've got here. Missing equipment, mechanized. Did we even research mechanized stuff yet? Very useful if we haven't. Where is it? It's in a slightly different place to what I'm used to. Mechanized. Maybe I can just build it, can I? Construction, production. Plus over here. Yes, I can. There's mechanized. So I didn't actually see where it was researched. But yeah, I'm not building it. Mechanized is really, really good in this game, the mechanized army. They slowly replaced your motorized army, and they're much better at it. If we take a look at just the stats there, the truck breakthrough is 5, hardness 10. Mechanized breakthrough 6, hardness 60%. Defense 26. It's not really for defense, although there is some of that. But armor 10, piercing 11. Whereas this is doesn't have any armor or piercing. So it's a massive upgrade. So we'll definitely build some of these. So again, make sure I'm not overriding anything else. Plus, do you want to do this instead of trucks? No, because you still need trucks for supply. You can, of course, scale down your production of trucks as you slowly migrate over to mechanized, because all the trucks that were being used for motorized army, once you upgrade those to mechanized, you know, the trucks become available and you can use them for transport. Excuse me, I'm always getting a message, aren't I, when I'm doing these tutorials. I'm just going to put 5 factories on the mechanized for now. We go over to our construction menu. How are we still building? Well, we're still building factories. Then we've got all these rail lines to do. And then we'll go for some more factories. There we go. All right, unpause. Can you build factories abroad in areas that you control? Of course you can. Just remember, as they rebel and so on, we don't get 100% of the use of all of those factories. And if you ever want to see, well, what percentage is it? Let's focus on the UK real quick. So we'll come over to occupied territories. We scroll down. Where is the UK? Or is it's going to be in as... Oh, there we go. But I just want to... Anyway, started from the top of that list. But in any case, so here's the UK. There are 66 factories available, 27 civ, 39 military in the States we are controlling. And with our current law and other modifiers, we can access 26.6% of them, or 17.5. So you can see we would have to really build 4 factories in the UK to be able to benefit from one. So it's not the best way to go, although it's obviously, once Germany is full, we absolutely need to expand into other countries. Ideally, we need to try and mould the country more into our favour so that we get access to more than 26%. This stat here, you can see Denmark, we get 31%, which is already a marked improvement. Poland, 43%, Czechoslovakia, 74%, so we're certainly doing things right over there. Okay, 1 hour 15. I'm always running over a little bit, but let's see how we're doing. Finish proposal for a continuation. You'd think after 40 years I'll be able to speak the language right. Finish proposal for a continuation of war. Members of Finland's ruling circle have reached out to us regarding the prospect of military cooperation against the Soviet menace to the east. Their proposal would allow the stationing of military assets within Finland on the condition we would protect one another's borders, as well as work together in any aggressive incursions into Soviet territory. Well, this is a proposal that I have to say, I've seen it before, but I don't get it very often. But absolutely, sure. Just make sure there are no records of this agreement. Yeah, because if it all goes wrong, history is that Finland had nothing to do with anything. Okay, bang. I'm not even sure if that was a thing or not in real life. It's not an aspect of the war I've looked into. Okay, so they've accepted that. Great. We've got our improved radar. Peru declared war on Ecuador. So let's dismiss. How long's our... You see, the Soviet Union were justifying against us. And look, that icon's disappeared. So just as I said, it was worth making sure we justified on them. And let's just have a look. How's that going? 86 out of 125 days. 9th of February it's taken place. So actually not too far away from when it really was. We're into 1941. Let's just get our research on the go. I said I wanted to get the improved tank stuff. And tank-wise, I want to get all the light tank. Because I make such heavy use of light tanks. Getting this one unlocked is so crucial, so let's get him on the go as well. I should have perhaps focused on that sooner. War in South America. Gotta say, this game's going a little bit off course to what it usually does. As those following along will know, there is a degree of randomness. There we go. Anti-Comintern Pact. And then war with the USSR, which we're going to be doing anyway, because we're justifying on them. So I may as well... Let's go... Oh, yeah, let's just go for air innovations. Okay. Pause. Improved artillery. I feel really bad because at the beginning of the episode I said it's going to be Operation Barbarossa, but you can see clearly it's going to take place at the end. Let's get the medium panzer, which I'm going to use. Heavy panzer, they are good. They're just so expensive to build that you can only get so few of them out there. I'm not saying it's not worth it. I'm just saying we need a little bit more build capacity before we can really exploit that. As you can see, we're even struggling to get the middleweight of panzers out. Italy declared war on the Swiss. Okay. Italy being allied with us. They may or may not ask us to join. And if they ask us to join, we need to get some forces down there before we say yes. And just in case, do you know what? We've got a few guys that are trained here. Let's once again create a new army. Let's pick a somewhat reasonable general. Let's go for this guy. And again, I'm just going to cover the line from our side. Just because if they do start, we don't want them tearing through Germany. There we go. Call to arms. There we go. Italy have asked us, please, can you help out? Right, I will, but I don't want to fight with such a weak army. So first thing I'm going to want to do is get this army that's going to go against them under a field marshal. Again, because the bonuses stack. We don't have a field marshal with any available slots apart from these two, which are, of course, going into Russia. So I'm actually going to hire a new field marshal because I do think we've got a fourth guy. Indeed, we do. It's actually the best one for attack. Oh, well, there he is. Let's go motorization level 3. Back to our recruit menu. And these two divisions, we'll get those in. We've got these crappier ones. Let's get that across to the... where are we here? The UK, this guy. And these panzer divisions here, we can see they're like 99%, well, 97% up to the next level. Just to help get this attack done, I'm going to grab 4 of them. I'm also going to grab 2 of the motorized divisions. I'm going to bring them over to this guy as well. And we may as well give him his orders, which is just to, and again, X, right-click, drag, move to the south. There we go. Okay. I'm going to slow time right down to like the 2nd bar. Call to arms from Italy, left click, and then you're immediately suckered into a yes or a no. And of course, we don't want to say no because Italy's our ally, so let's go yes. And now this guy is in position. So let's tell him to go. I realize he's not entirely happy about this, but of course we do have Italy from the south. Let's begin. Air will really help, so F3. These guys that are training fantastic, they're done. I didn't realize they'd be ready already. So 3 fighter wings. Let's get them into the area. And then combat air support. Let's get those into the area. In fact, it never hurt to have another fighter wing. There we go. All right, unpause. We'll deal with the other wings that we're training once that's done. And so there we go. Now that Switzerland is under attack from both sides, it is a very mountainous country, so it's quite difficult to attack for non-specialized troops. I think what I'm going to do is tell my general to go aggressive. Again, just to get this conflict wrapped up. Now, I'm just going to pause it real quick. We've got requests from Romania, Slovakia, Vichy France. They all want to get stuck in. Well, Vichy France is actually directly on the border with them, so absolutely. But again, there's no reason why I don't want my allies to help out. There can be sometimes, but on this conflict, no, I just want it to be over and done with. Because our focus is on Russia. Or the Soviet Union, as it was called. Maybe it was, I think it was called Russia as well. So yeah, there we go. We see we've got this Vichy France now stuck in. So Switzerland is not in a good place. Wedged between Germany, Italy, and France, all 3 of which are moving in. Take a look at our fuel situation, by the way. We are not good on fuel. We urgently need more refineries and our countries that can produce. Once again, let's get some of these Canadian forces over. Shift left click, some more of the crappy armies ready as well. Zooming in once more. Switzerland actually holding a bit better than I would have thought. We're not going to micro this one, so let's just increase the speed. There we go. But unfortunately, it looks like Italy is going to bag itself the area. You can see even the areas that we've fought, Italy's taken control. There may or may not be a peace conference after that. What did I say? Okay, okay, great news. So here it comes to dividing up the nation. There are only 5 slots, and again, it depends who's contributed how much. So Italy, Vichy, France, and ourselves, we've all contributed to this conflict. Each one of us is going to be given so and so many points each round, and in my case, 97. So I may as well pick, and if we take a look, resource-wise, there's a bit of aluminium to be had here, there, and everywhere. Of course, population, which results as factories and so on, is also an asset. I'll tell you what, if I go to puppets, let me just see if I can, and with 97, maybe I can go this one and this one. There we go, just to the point. Okay. Second round, so there are some still available, so it would appear that actually we contributed most to the fight, and that's probably because we had most divisions and we certainly pushed them the hardest. So I'm going to grab this tile as well as this one for 19. Oh, where is it? There we go. Submit. And now there is Italy saying, hey, I want this particular one. I'm just going to demand, because they've probably already got one. Demand. Okay. They can have that one there. I'll leave that one. There, they've got it. Okay, so it looks like we have concluded. So, pass. Yeah, confirm and exit. Okay. Okay, bang. Right, so this area here now under our control, in theory, we did puppet them, right? Yes, we did. We can now, look at this, request garrison support. By the way, this is, so their opinion of us is neutral, 0. Our opinion of them is minus 100, probably because of, I don't know, the war that's just been. So we can request garrison support from this country. They're then going to send their people to cover some of our garrisons, which of course free our people up to do the actual fighting. So we're going to do that. Now, it's a small country, but they're going to accept. What do we actually get? Let's unpause. 102,000 people. That's massive. So that, of course, directly frees... They may as well have given us 102,000 to fight, because the mechanics are the same, basically. Okay, fantastic. Unassigned divisions, a whole bunch more for training, which is great. We've got a Panzer Division 2 here that are ready to go. Let's give them to Manstein. It is indeed. Now, this division that we just sent south here that we created to do the fighting, of course, it doesn't need now to exist because it's completed the fighting. I'm thinking, though, do you know what? We could actually use it to get one of these generals up to 5 divisions. So let's put it in Army Group South. They are a little lacking in on the Panzer side of things. And again, I'm just going to right-click on the field. Sorry. So again, select the Field Marshal, right-click, delete all the orders. And again, this is the frustrating thing. We're bringing in a new general, but now we have got the full 5. Right-click, drag just to the end there. And then, of course, that new guy will make his way across. Sorry it's been such a long episode, but look at this. The justification of Russia is complete. That's going to mark the end of episode 24. Remember, if your game is a little wonky, do make use of the save games while you can. I say while you can. At some point, Hearts of Iron will update, of course, the game. So look forward to episode 25, where we'll see if we can get through Russia. I perhaps shouldn't be so optimistic, but we'll see if we can. All right, I'll see you in episode 25. Thank you very much. Leave a like if you found it useful. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.